Welcome back, viewers, to the Elite Karting Series. We are here for round 2 of the season. We're right into the last couple of races of the day. First up, we have got Split 2, Race 3 around this 1 kilometre Daytona Tamworth circuit. Opened in its current form in 2015, where the second part of the track, the club circuit, so to speak, was added to the circuit. And well, we've seen some great racing so far today, and I'm sure this will continue into Split 2's third race. Jamie Handyside is on pole position. Luka Nik alongside him on row 1. Ross Sandwell and Chris O'Connor were actually only separated by about 1.7 hundredths at the line. They will make up row 2. Hugh Morrison and Miles Harding are on row 3. Our next page sees Andy Laister and Yat Chi Lo on row 4. Yat Chi Lo actually showing some pretty good pace after a relatively difficult first couple of races. Chrissy Harding is in 9th on row 5. She's talking about how she wants to get herself into the 57-second lap times throughout the course of the day, and potentially race 3 will provide her the opportunity to do that. James Browning will line up alongside her in 10th place on the grid. So Luka Nik and Jamie Handyside will share row 1 once again for one final time in Split 2, Race 3. Chris O'Connell is on row 2, and well, he's had quite a few battles with Luka Nik throughout the course of the day. Jamie Handyside making sure that he controls this pace and is the leader in control of the pace for the time being, and then green flag flies here at Tamworth for one final time for Split 2, and Chris O'Connell immediately overtaken by Ross Sandwell into turn 3. Now he's on the inside of Luka Nik as they go down into turn 4. Chris late on the brakes will have to squeeze out Luka, and he squeezes Luka all the way onto the curb, just about into that position though, and now tries to attack for second place ahead of Ross Sandwell. On the outside, Chris O'Connell, Luka Nik getting the kart, stops just in time into turn 6 to put the pressure on Chris O'Connell, but can't quite find his way through. Chris has got the inside line heading down into turn 7 and is okay where he is. Ross Sandwell going a little bit deep, that allows Chris to help himself to the position around the outside. A bit of contact between the two as Luka Nik now goes down the inside trying to get himself into third spot. But again, Ross Sandwell just able to defend by the skin of his teeth. Chrissy Harding is trying to get past James Browning, who himself is trying to get past Hugh Morrison as they go down into turn 11. But they all have to be very, very careful because there's a big, big train and you don't want the Constantina effect or anything like that. So Chrissy Harding having to watch James Browning start to put pressure on Hugh Morrison, who himself is putting pressure on Miles Harding at this point in the race. Through turn 3 they go then, and Luka Nik trying to catch up to Ross Sandwell, who himself has got a run on Chris O'Connell down into turn 4. Chris just about plonks the cart into the middle of the road, Luke, and is able to stay in that spot. Luka around the outside trying to get the spot again. He's going to go all the way around the outside of turn 5. That is not an easy move to make.
What a move that was by Luka Nik. He just went clean around the outside and off camber corner 2. That was superb from Luka Nik, round the outside of Ross Sandwell and back up now into third position. Now on the back of Chris O'Connell as they head now down into turn number 9 in this little infield section on the original circuit here at Tamworth. And Luka Nik is right behind Chris O'Connell. He's going to go for a move here into the final corner, into the very tight hairpin. Don't think he's quite close enough. I think he just misses ankles there actually, going through turn number 11. But he's got a good run here, coming out the final corner, going across the original start finish line. Chris O'Connell just about managing to stay ahead. So Jamie Handyside then, he's in the lead of the race, as we've seen shooting through the static camera here. And then we've got Chris O'Connell, who's all the way up in second position here. He's also the leading senior heavyweight driver ahead of Luka Nik in third. And then we've got Andy Laister actually just outshot. I think you just saw him there going through the static camera. Andy Laister's managed to make his way past Ross Sandwell. So Andy Laister now up in 2P4. His teammates with Chris O'Connell in Odd Squad Racing. So Andy now in 4th ahead of Ross Sandwell. And then we've got this battle here unfolding between Miles Harding, Hugh Morrison, James Browning, Chrissy Harding and Yat Chi Lo all battling out for P6.
9 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the race, and Luka's still applying that pressure to Chris O'Connell as they head down into turn 11, as Luke said, on the original infield circuit of what used to be the Priory Park circuit. Right now, Chris O'Connell isn't getting a fantastic exit out of turn 12. Luka Nik catches to him, up to him a little bit inside of the corner, but out of turn 1, the slipstream not quite powerful enough to allow Luka Nik to catch up to Chris O'Connell. We'll see what they can do through turn 3, and Chris makes a little bit of a mistake. This allows Luka Nik to get a run, but into turn 4 it would have to be a huge dive bomb to make the move there. However, he's caught up quite a sizable chunk. Into turn 5 they go now, going onto the curb a little bit just to make sure he gets the run out of the corner, and Chris O'Connell again seems pretty confident where he is right now, but it won't be too long before Luka Nik tries the move. He goes down the inside now into turn 7 on the inside line, moves out to the outside of the track actually with a bit of understeer, but enough to squeeze through ahead of Chris O'Connell into second position. These two have been battling pretty much for the entirety of the 3 races that we've had so far today, but Luka Nik once again getting just narrowly the better of Chris O'Connell.
Yeah, really good move there by Luka Nik, going up the inside then, like you say, into turn number 7, just slotted up the inside. Really neat move. We can also see running on board now with Chrissy Harding. You can see this battle unfolding in, I think this is a battle for 4th place now, I think is what it's evolving to. So you've got Andy Laister and Ross Sandwell, there you go, going through the static cam now. You can see there is Andy Laister ahead of Ross, and then we've got James Browning, Miles Harding, Hugh Morrison, and then Chrissy, who we're back on board with here. You can see them all in very close combat with one another.
Jamie Handyside doing a really good job in this race, dominating, and you can see the gap visually as they head through the static camera, followed by Luka Nik, who is quite a ways down the road, but himself gaining a good advantage on Chris O'Connell. The rest of the field still battling along, and you can see here James Browning actually trying to do battle once again with Andy Laister, and down the inside into turn 4. Looks like he's just about going to squeeze through and into the position. So a fantastic move from James Browning. Chrissy Harding, by the way, has caught up a little bit to Hugh Morrison and her husband Miles Harding just ahead of us. They're going to start to battle in a few moments time, I am sure. Chrissy's really had to get the hammer down here, Luke, to try and catch up to these guys.
Yeah, she has. She's doing good lap times here. She's in the low 58s, almost getting into the 57s. I know she said in her interview earlier that is her goal for today, to try and get herself into the 57s, but she's got right the way up then to Hugh Morrison, who had that brilliant interview with her in race number 1. Now going into turn number 10, is she going to sneak one on the inside? I think she is indeed. What a move that was by Chrissy. Sneaky little move there, capitalised on a mistake by Hugh Morrison, and Chrissy Harding now, she's managed to make her way past Hugh Morrison and into 8th position. So yeah, that move in the previous lap then by James Browning, it was an absolutely fantastic move going down into turn number 4 on Andy Laister. James did exactly the same on the previous lap as well on Ross Sandwell. So that's 2 great overtakes in the space of 2 laps by James Browning. He's also setting some really fast lap times in this race. So James has just done a 57.0. So it's an absolute flying lap by James Browning. He's the 2nd fastest car on circuit at the moment, carving his way through the field. So great racing here by James Browning in particular, as we're now back on board with Chrissy Harding. You can see she's now starting to catch up to her husband Miles Harding. So these two, they've got a bit of a intermarriage battle going on here, a bit of a rivalry going on. I think the agreement they have in place is whoever loses to the other in the championship this season will be paying for the holiday next year. So it's interesting to see how this one unfolds over the course of this year. Like we're seeing at the moment, Chrissy's got a little bit more pace than Miles, so her fastest lap time is about half a second quicker than Miles is. So yeah, she is managing to reel him in here as they are now battling out for 7th position.
Chrissy trying to catch up as they go into turn 3, but again Miles has just got a couple of kart lengths ahead of her. The gap visually looks to be about 2 seconds or so, maybe 1.5 seconds, but Miles makes a mistake out of turn 4 that'll allow Chrissy to close up ever so slightly, and again it's ever so slightly at this point in the race, just trying to make sure she chips away 1/10 of a second or so a lap, and she should just about have enough to get ahead of Miles by the end of this race, and already she's caught up a sizable chunk on this lap. Miles not quite getting the rhythm going, and he misses the apex of turn 8. That allows Chrissy to get the run, a tidier line into turn 9 as well. Maybe she'll dive to the inside into turn 10, and she does. It's a perfectly set up move for Chrissy Harding, but she's going to have to confirm it down into turn 11, staying side by side. Miles Harding is staunch in his defence, and a little bit of bumping between the two of them, but Chrissy Harding can't quite find her way through, and that was a very, very aggressive defence from Miles Harding. I think he'll just about was it within his rights to do so. Chrissy not done yet though. Into turn 3 they go. She looks to take a slightly wider line. Miles makes a bit of a mistake that allows Chrissy to have the inside line into turn 4, but it'll have to be late on the brakes. Again, Miles closes the door, and Chrissy Harding can't quite find her way through. Now into turn 5, it will be a late braking move. You don't really brake into turn 5, and Miles knows that, flicking the kart in to that part of the track, and into turn 6 Chrissy Harding will then just about managed to tuck in behind once again through turn 7, taking a wider line than Miles, but again, Miles is just about okay to hold on to the spot for now. Into turn 9, Chrissy looks to the inside. It'll have to be a late move, more contact between the two of them, and now to the inside line goes Chrissy Harding. She's really trying this move into turn 10, and this time around gets clear of her husband down into turn 11, and Chrissy Harding with a wonderful move.
What a battle that was between the husband and wife duo of Chrissy and Miles. Just to give Miles a bit of credit here, Miles, he is a heavyweight in this race, whereas Chrissy is just racing at 80 kilos. I think Miles is coming in as 102 kilos, so he does have a little bit of a weight disadvantage. But yeah, Chrissy and Miles, what about this? You can see as well Hugh Morrison just going for the static camera there. Hugh Morrison is right behind them indeed, so can he capitalise on this battle here between the husband and wife and manage to make his way back up into P6?
Luka Nik making his way through into turn 1 for the final time in this race. Jamie Handyside will take the checkered flag just a little bit of ways up the road. Luka Nik in second position. It's been a fantastic run of results for both of the two drivers, 1 and 2 if I'm not mistaken, in all of our races today. Chris O'Connell will finish in third. It's been really productive stuff for all three of those drivers in split 2, making the best of being in this second split. Chrissy Harding also making her way into turn 1. She is going to get the better of her husband in this race and the round as well, finishing in 7th. Andy Laister and Ross Sandwell 5th and 6th. And here comes Chrissy Harding to take the checkered flag. A very interesting day of racing. An interesting race then, but as has seemed inevitable throughout the course of today, Jamie Handyside further cements himself as a contender to get into split 1 for the next round by winning by a massive 5 seconds. Luka Nik proved formidable competition for him. He's able to finish in second position, this time a little bit more comfortable ahead of third. James Browning occupying that third spot. Odd Squads Racing's Chris O'Connell is in 4th position, with Andy Laister sitting in 5th. Both of these drivers are senior heavyweights. Crawley Seekers have a 6 and 7, with Ross Sandwell and Chrissy Harding, two drivers showing pretty decent pace throughout the course of that race. Miles Harding is in 8th position, also involved in that entertaining battle with Hugh Morrison and Yat Chi Lo, the rest of your order.
I'm here with Andy Laister. How was that, Andy? You look like you had great fun out there today.
It was interesting. There was a bit of a difference between the karts, as I found. So unfortunately, after having a really good qualifying, I seemed to get a couple of slightly slower karts, one of them being 113, which was taken out towards the end because everybody was coming last in it. So, and then in the last race, I got a reasonably good kart, started at the back, came through the field up to 5th place. So yeah, I was happy with that. Good to try a different circuit and try it in the dry as well.
Yes.
Compared to Sandown last time.
Like Sandown, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, learning how the karts handle as well, differently compared to the lawnmower engines I'm sort of used to with the sort of normal hire cars. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Buckmore Park next time actually, because I've heard that the karts there are superb. But yeah, I say overall thoroughly enjoyed it. So good to be battling with people, because at Sandown I just found that by the time I'd worked out how to handle the kart, people were gone. So I was on my own, whereas this time I was fighting with people, which is always more enjoyable.
Okay, I'm here with Ross Sandwell. You had a bit of an interesting race earlier on, may have ended up head first in the wall, but that was great recovery and really good fun race. How did it go?
Yeah, no, the first race was very up and down. I got a really good start, and then the race just kind of ran away from me, and I found myself at the end of in the wall at the end of the straight. So the first race was very mixed emotions. Yeah.
But yeah, great driving after that. I think it was 4th in that final race, I believe
yes.
it was.
Yeah. Roughly, I think 4th or 5th. I'm not too sure, but from where I was at the start of the day to where I finished, I would take that 100%.
And for someone who's brand new to outdoors, you do superbly well. So well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.